What up? All right.
What up? Hey, so I had a question for you,
Yeah.
and I, why don't girls play baseball?
I did. I have said this for actually a long time, man. Like I'm not kidding. I think it is one of the main sports where women could play just as well. I mean, even the PGA Tour. I mean, I guess women don't maybe hit it as far because it's just tracked that way. Like you can tell, like it's just laws of average. They don't hit it as far, and the same for baseball, I guess. But I agree, man. Like that's where like Tate's doing T-ball, right? And you're probably asking for a different reason, and we might get to that, but we're recording, you know that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, dude, I've said the same. I don't, there's, to me, there's no, you can't tell me, I mean, there's got to be women out there that can throw in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even necessarily mean just that. Okay, so it's like a layered things. I'll try to be quickly
yeah,
so we're not wasting time here. But okay, number one, for young kids, right? So for background for everyone that watches this, I coached my niece's softball team, 10-year-old softball team yesterday, okay,
yeah,
for the first time. Okay.
yeah,
I feel like it'd be so much easier for those little girls to be holding a baseball than a softball, right? It's
yeah.
smaller, their hands are smaller. It'd be easier for them to grab it, maybe easier for them to throw it.
I
Okay,
think that's
that's
just
number
kids in general, though, because usually girls are
one.
bigger than boys as they grow a little bit,
Right,
but early.
right, right. And then number two, I started thinking about it. I can't think of any. I don't know if there is, but it's the only sport that is completely different from every other sport as far as the men and women. Like men and women that play soccer, it's the exact same thing. Men
Yeah,
and women that play golf, it's the same thing. Men and women that play basketball, it's the same thing.
yeah, just the
Well,
ball's maybe a little bit
I
smaller for
guess
that, but
basketball,
otherwise,
the ball is 1 inch
smaller,
smaller.
and the 3 point line's a little shorter, but otherwise, same game. Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
I'm like, because it's a completely different game.
Oh,
They can't lead off. The stealing is different. You can steal,
yeah.
but it's like you have rules. The ball's bigger. They throw different. I mean, could you imagine women pitching how men do? Like where they're
Yeah.
standing and throwing overhand instead of a swinging underhand.
Yeah. And that's true. That's true for being a similar game is a much different game. That's actually very true. And I took what you said originally as like, why can't the women play with the men? Because I just think that in general, and obviously in T-ball they're mixed anyways. But I will tell you, through Little League, so through being 12 years old, and that's sixth grade, the best players in our Little League, we only had like three girls, and they were the best fucking players. You didn't want to face Aisha, and you didn't want to face Kayla because they were gonna fucking strike your asses out. Like they were gonna
Right,
get your, like
right.
they were truly the best like players. So it was, but you're right now it's just like taken over, and now I hear what you're saying, which is why not just keep it the same game and girls play against girls? And then, yeah,
Right.
like what? That's
So
very
no, I
true.
wasn't thinking that way. You might be right, but not really because you couldn't intertwine them together because even at those ages, boys are faster if they're the same age. Most of the time, boys are going to be faster. Um,
Yes
I
and
don't
no. I
know
think
about the I
it'll
don't
be
know about the
rare.
throwing. I feel like girls probably would not be throwing 99 100 mile an hour fastballs, but they might be able to hit 90
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. I mean, it all depends on. There's a lot of factors, but I think because of how baseball is, there's so many ways to throw a ball. I mean, Randy Johnson
Right.
threw it sidearm because he's like, if you throw it overhand, you're going to ruin your arm. I threw side. He
Yeah.
threw sidearm because it was to save his arm. It wasn't just because that's just. He was like, I literally thought about it and thought it's a better arm slot so I could throw forever, and
Yeah.
throw a long time. So even if you did that, I mean, he flung it. But to your point, like, yeah, why not have like the league of their own? That was a big deal. And I don't know. And maybe it's like almost like an ownership thing, meaning this is a sport that like women own. Like it is played by women, and yeah, like grown men play slow pitch softball, right? And
Right.
there are
Right.
fast pitch leagues technically for men, but not really much at all. But to your point, yeah, like I don't know why, because I've pushed it to the realm of like I don't understand why a girl couldn't just go all the way through because the locker room situation's different in baseball. For example, like you don't really like I mean, you're like for us, like we got dressed in our locker rooms, but they were at the high school. But like you're getting dressed in the locker room to go to the like the girl has her own locker room. She can go to the
Yeah,
locker room. You know, like
right,
she has to be in that same space. Whereas once you hit professional ranks, a little bit
right.
different. There's the home locker room, away locker room. So like
Hmm.
you kind of get into that piece of it. But I've always thought I'm like, why not? I mean, if someone's as good as the others, they should be able to play. What is it? What does it freaking
Again,
matter?
to be honest with you, real quickly, again, I'll say. So the reason I'm even thinking of it was coaching their team. Okay, for this is the first year that they are able to pitch. So the parent doesn't pitch, they pitch. Okay,
Yeah,
and there's a girl on this team. Lord, Greg, this girl is a stud. I mean,
yeah,
just you can just tell she's just an athlete, right? She's just super gifted. She could not pitch. She could not get the like mechanics down of pitching.
yeah,
Everything else, throwing the ball, a beast. At
yeah,
10, a beast, a
yeah.
beast.
Like no one wants to
Hitting,
catch it from her.
she was crushing it into the outfield. None of the girls do that. None of them
Yeah,
at 10. None. She was
yeah,
I mean, she was a stud and
yeah,
could not get the pitching down. And I was like trying to walk her through it. I was like trying to help, but I'm like, I've never done
yeah.
this,
I don't
right?
even
Like,
know. Yeah, right.
I'm lost here, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was weird. So I was like, because she started throwing overhand pitches with the softball
yeah,
just to get her numbers through, and so we let her throw it overhand, and she was doing great,
yeah,
like perfect.
yeah.
Like, okay, well, sorry, but
That's what this is. Yeah.
unfortunately, you have to throw it underhand.
And now with how like clubs have become a huge thing or stuff, it's not even like the girls I was talking about of the Aisha, the Ashley, the Kayla, like they don't play ball to that age anymore in baseball. It just I
Right.
don't hear about it. It's always now they're transitioning over to softball and already got to like talk to Tage about that. Now she's just 6, so she'll probably just do T-ball again next year, coach pitch. But like after that, she'll be 7, and it's like, okay, well, you kind of got to decide now. Like, do you like this?
Yeah.
Do you want to go play with all girls in a different type of game and figure
Yeah.
this out now? Right. So
Yeah.
you're right,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's a good question to pose. I'm always a proponent of women should be able to play games that men play. If they're just as talented, they should be able to be in those leagues. And to your point, yeah,
Agreed.
numbers and stats and actually like it bears out. Laws of
Yeah.
averages say men are stronger than women, men are faster than women at certain
Right.
ages, but
Right.
there will still be outliers of women that can
Oh,
fucking
100%.
beast you.
Yeah.
So yeah, um,
I
but yeah,
apologize, everyone. That's probably a 5 or 10 minute little
sure that nobody
side
cares
rail of
about.
baseball. Uncle Andy, I can already hear it. Well, this isn't fantasy football. What are they talking about?
Women shouldn't play
Women
the
shouldn't
ball.
be in these.
Just kidding, Andy. That's
I'm
not
just
really
kidding.
me goes in it
Yeah,
either.
I'm
But I
just
just want to
kidding.
give him a hard time too.
Yeah,
But thank you for being on and being patient. We were supposed to do this a little bit
yeah,
earlier, but dude, I just
yeah.
had
No
a whole
problem.
bunch of stuff just hit. So I got my
Yeah,
smoker
yeah,
now rolling. Doesn't have any meat in it yet, but I'm trying to get the temperature and whatnot. So
yeah.
thank you for letting me get that in.
Right.
But yeah, this is a mock draft episode. So welcome fam to mock draft episodes, the first kind of episode that we're doing for the year. And hey, just to kind of get us started and back into the role of it, we really our draft is here in what less than 2.5 weeks, so less than three
Yeah.
weeks we're
Less than
drafting.
three
So
weeks.
we're right there. And even Allison's been saying for about a week plus now, like I got to start, getting back into it and all that stuff. So I'm hoping this can at least help light a fire for some people who haven't. I know there's some who I know are like mock drafting and have reached out about it and stuff too. But um, before we hop into an actual mock draft, I have a question to pose to you because I don't want to get like too deep into like all the strategy, but we all draft at different spots in the draft, and so for example, Tyler's
Mhm.
gonna be the first pick, but then he doesn't have a pick until like the 24th pick. Right, so there's a 22 pick gap for like Tyler within what he does, and then somebody who's in the middle at the 6th pick. Right, you're right, dead center. So you keep having picks every 12 picks and whatnot, and there's technically different like kind of ways to think about it or strategies to look at. you personally, do you have like a different how do you approach, I guess I should say, being at the tail end of a draft, so either being the first near one of the top, two or three, or bottom two or three, meaning you're going to pick quickly, two picks quickly, versus in that middle spot where you're kind of in a fairly more consistent rolling through. What do you do in those situations?
So unfortunately, it's tough to gauge on a real draft, but what I try to do is watch how the computer is drafting and
Okay.
kind of try to judge it from there. So I'll do my first five mocks, right, where I don't have a plan. I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to see like how people are falling, because that's generally how it will fall in the real draft with people.
Sure.
Some things
Yeah.
obviously will be different, but you start judging that. So that's my first step. Then my second step will then be, okay, obviously a lot of people want a great quarterback. So where are they going? Are they starting in the second round? Are they starting in the third round? Then you want to start judging there. What players do you want to get for your points, right? Before you get your quarterback, because
Yeah.
you want the skill position players probably more than you want the quarterback, honestly.
Yeah.
So, and it going from one, that's my thing this year. I've switched it up. I'm going to be honest. I normally go and I mock in all kinds of different places, right? Well, I've been steadily doing number 9, which is where I'm drafting in our league. So I've just been
Sure.
going from 9 and trying to kind of judge it. And it's pretty much ran the same way. So, like, you'll get an idea of what will be there when you're picking.
And I think that's a good way to like definitely start it off, like you said. See what's happening, like within it. See what's happening within the
That's the most
actual.
important thing. Now, again, if you have, I know a lot of us have our players, right, that we love. Louis is going to be a Cowboy guy sometimes, and I'm going to be a Colts guy sometimes if I can be, about this year, but so if you have your specific players, which obviously then again throws monkey wrenches into some plans, because sometimes you don't expect a player to go at a spot that someone took them, and then you might be able to get a player you didn't think you'd be able to get. So,
Yeah. No, and that's true too. And I think you make a good point about like somebody like Louis or others that I just say more, active within it, meaning like they just are a little bit like picking and choosing certain players that they like. I guess I should say,
yeah.
right? Kind of to your point, like, Louis has been one where he likes certain players, like, and he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna, go after certain players because that's who he likes, and so you can know that he's not going to really go off of that ADP as much to choose who he's gonna like have on his
Right.
on his team. And that's also good to know, like, another just quick one of like knowing who you're drafting with, right? And so I think we get a good gauge of that so far, maybe with who we have in our league. For me, the only thing I would say is like I think when you're at the end of a draft, I don't think about the ADP, so average draft position. I don't look at it. You can't look at it as much because you're not going to get. If you're Tyler and you're drafting very first, you're not going to be able to get the 12th ranked player. Like you're just not. So unless you like
Yeah.
him and that's who you're going to pick first, but you're not picking until pick 24 again, right? So you
Right.
have to think about that, but it's really more later in the draft. Of then he's going to pick 24 and 25, then he won't pick again until what 48, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's there it's a weird way to do it. So you can't really think about ADP, and maybe to your point, being more like a Louis. I think if you're at the ends of a draft, you got to be more like Louis and think in that way of who do you like, who do you want on your team, because that's in a sense it could be more fun in that way of
Yeah.
just pick the players that you like. Whereas if you're in the middle of the round like of it, you can kind of go more off of the ADP, like you're talking about. Watch how it's rolling through. Maybe have a few players, and then the last piece I would say is a good part to the end is so often. How many times are you between two players or three players, and it's like you can at least double tap them or think, okay, does Zach have does he already have a quarterback? Because I'm thinking I like this quarterback, but I also like this running back. So maybe if Zach is the one between me, I can take the running back because he's already got a quarterback, and I know that I'll get the quarterback on the other end. So those are things to kind of
Yeah,
think about.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, good thoughts and good convo around it. So when you're mock drafting, do that, and then also just trying different stuff. You know, who know
yeah,
because you don't know who's going to fall to you in the end of a real draft, like you said. So see where it's
yeah.
at and what the value is, and then kind of see what you might do differently, or if I went certain plays, certain ways. All right. Well, are you ready to kind of get into one here?
Yep, let's do it.
All
I
right.
hope I stay on the screen. I don't know. I'm on my phone for everything, so
Oh, yeah, you're fine for that. I'm going to invite you kind of to the draft. So I'm going to
yep.
basically send you I'm going to put it in Zoom here in the chat. So I should be able to put it in the chat here of a little link that then you can go to it. What I'm going to ask choose whatever spot you want. Do you want a middle or do you want to end? Because I think it'd be kind of cool if we did one from either spot.
Um, I don't care. I'll you know what? I'll do the middle because it'll
Okay,
be so I'll do six.
cool, beautiful. You're
Can
in.
you
Love
still
it.
see me on the
Yep.
screen?
Let me Here's what I'm gonna do now. I don't see you. I just see it saying Zach at this
Yeah,
point. I know, so that's a shame. So we can't see your face, but I can move it so I'm not gonna see my face either. At that point, no one really wants to see it anyways. But I'll leave them kind of up here. I'll maybe flatten it out so I can. I think I can flatten it out.
yeah, it's fine. Nobody wants to see my face anyway.
Right. We just don't want to see anybody's face. And like you said, I'll pick. I'll pick. Um, I'm gonna go with team one. I'm gonna be Tyler this time around because I think this is an interesting concept of what we would do. So I'm gonna claim team one, and
Sure,
be that. Okay. Are you ready to start this draft?
let's do it.
Okay. Just so everybody knows, we are on Sleeper. We are not on our platform of ESPN. So ESPN is going to have different average draft positions for players. Every single platform just has different average draft positions, and often is based on people who are mock drafting, actually, of like who they would choose in that scenario. This does follow pretty much most of our league stuff, but Zach and I are going to draft based on that, anyways. But we'll kind of talk through strategy as we go. And another reason that I choose sleeper is I can pause it at any point if we have anything to discuss for it. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, let's get it rolling. So I'm going to start the draft. Um, am I sure? I am sure. Okay, so I'm starting it off. Here's why I kind of chose this spot is because Jamar Chase could be viewed as the number one kind of player to go for in most leagues. In general, he won what they call the triple crown last year, which is he led the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns as a wide receiver. So he won triple crown. He is kind of the unanimous number one. However, in our league, it's so running back focused, and as you saw last year, I want to say it was like eight running backs went in that first round, maybe nine. It was very heavy. I remember Dr. Sam speaking to that of like I didn't plan to pick a running back, but everyone started picking them, so I kind of had to. Um,
Yeah.
with that in mind, I here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not going to. I would probably pick a running back here because if I don't pick again until 24, it's probably smart to take a running back here. But just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna take Jamar Chase and just see where that goes for me.
Okay.
And it's coming up to you. So three running backs off the board already, some top players.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts here? Are you looking to go running back in the middle, or do you feel like you can take a nice wide receiver like a CD Lamb instead?
So I have been pretty running back heavy early because it is kind of tough to get a stud running back later in rounds. But I am going to go with you and I am going to switch it up this time and I'm going to draft CD Lamb.
Okay. One of the things
So we'll see what I get coming back. Maybe I can get to Jonathan Taylor, maybe.
Okay, it looks like you can, man. I mean, it looks like,
And yep, I'm gonna make Jonathan Taylor. I got Josh Jacobs actually.
yep,
Um,
a few, yeah, a couple guys. So to your point, like you were able to get that. I don't know if that's going to
I
happen in our
mean,
league, but as I look through this, anyways, like it's going to be mostly, let's see, McCaffrey. So we had in that first round 6 running backs go.
hmm
Bowers went very
hmm
early. I'm kind of surprised by that at the 2-2, but that is what
yeah,
happens. And then Bucky Irving and Devon Achane went. Josh Allen goes early, but that also happens in our league because of his running
yeah,
upside and
yeah,
the addition there. So, that makes a
yeah.
lot of sense also.
I
I
think
did
I
notice in
am.
ESPN on their ADP, they have basically the
Mhm.
top 4 quarterbacks all bunched together when you're mock
Yeah,
drafting there, and they're usually going in
yeah,
like the third round or fourth round, but that doesn't mean
right,
that's what's going to happen.
right. So I think I am gonna do. I'm back and forth. I almost want to take AJ Brown, um, but I'm gonna take Josh Jacobs. I'm gonna do the smart pick, and I feel like that's a good starting two right there.
Yeah, I would
Um,
agree. I like that. I like that pick. So why did you go Jacobs over Taylor?
I think Jacobs will probably have a better year than Taylor just from the offense completely around. You know what I mean? Jonathan Taylor's been kind of nicked. Our offensive line isn't fantastic, and I don't know how much we're going to run the ball.
Yeah, I think it's Indy will be interesting this year. All the stuff with A Rich and what's going to happen there. Is it going to be Daniel Jones? Like so you don't know what's happening in that sense. And that offense, to your point, they don't without that kind of offensive line. It's he comes from the Eagles. Steichen does, but at the same time, the Eagles have had the best offensive line for how many years in a row now. And they can
Exactly.
continue to pound the ball and run the rock. So,
Yeah,
to your
exactly.
point. This is going to be real interesting because I got 2 picks in a row, so that's kind of the nice part here. And I'll be honest, I'm
Yeah,
going to I mean, if Lamar Jackson is sitting there, I think he's a league winning type of player. I
sure.
won the actual championship with him 2 years ago, him being the main cog of that. So I'm definitely taking Lamar Jackson. And then I got to take a running back. I think again that's a safe play in our league. You kind of have to go. I don't expect these guys to maybe be there when you would might maybe normally pick. But the nice part
Right.
about this is I get to take them. I could have also just said, you know what, I'm not going to go for Lamar. I'm going to see what I get later on with
Yeah.
quarterback play. But instead, I have to choose now between either Kyron Williams or Chase Brown. This is a tough decision, but the reason I'm probably going to go Kyron is because I already have Jamar Chase, who's on the
hmm
Bengals. I don't know that I want both the passing game and running
Yeah.
game from the
Yeah.
Bengals. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Kyron Williams, who's on a different team, just got a contract. They're going to rely on him,
Yeah.
and especially with Matthew Stafford banged up and stuff
Well,
like
and
that.
when he is on the field, he's shown to be a pretty good running back. He's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yes, absolutely. So we're gonna go Kyron Williams here as my start, and I'll take a Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson, Kyron start. You have C.D. Lamb and Josh Jacobs as your start, and shoot, if you want to do a similar thing, you got Jaden Daniels, who's popped up there, who's a great pick as a running quarterback. You got
Okay,
more running
so
backs.
I'm going to say this right now for context for everybody, okay? And this would not obviously be every game plan, but because of where I'm at and points and things like that, I am not going to go with a quarterback early at all because I'm going to try to sit back and I'm going to see if I can get Dak with CD Lamb.
Okay,
That's kind of my thought process. So
I like it.
basically what I'm saying is I'm going to go heavy with position players. Um the real question is who. I really like Brees Hall, so I think I might go another running back here. But I also like James Cook, and he did very well for me last year as well.
Yep, yep.
Um, so I'm kind of torn there.
Does his contract situation worry you right now? I mean, I know we're a little less than 3 weeks away, so you have some
No,
time, but you
yeah,
think that's going to get
no,
done?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they'll give him something where he'll be happy. Yeah.
Yeah,
It seems like a lot of the running backs are getting deals done. I mean, they're not for what they want, but I'm going to go James Cook just because of how he did for me last year.
yeah.
So,
And just so everybody can see, as of right now, um, you know, Brees Hall ended up going shoot in the fourth round,
yeah,
even though he was right
yeah,
there. So interesting, and
yeah,
that means he's falling a bit due to maybe being having some shared work in the backfield, from what it seems. George Kittle, the third tight end, went off the board at the end of the third. So you're looking at Team 12. They're heavy. I mean, but they look great. Nico Collins, Puka Nakua, George Kittle, Mike Evans. You know, that's a great start, but they don't have any running back help on that squad right now. So that's a little tough, in my opinion. But
yeah,
got a few things going on there. But another, good grouping, and it's been fairly mixed in this draft as far as the style of player that's being taken.
yeah. So I'm going to probably go DK Metcalf here
Okay,
and get my two starters, both running back and wide receiver, out of the way.
I like that. Okay, so now you
I
feel
don't think
secured
the
and
Yeah, I don't think the wide receivers are going to be as strong coming back to me.
understandable. Yeah, and and DK is also the number one, wide receiver by a mile on his team.
Yeah,
So even though it might
yeah,
not be a pass heavy offense, he's the number one guy, and Rodgers is
yeah.
going to rely on him a lot too.
Hmm.
On my end, I'm mixed. So I have a wide receiver, a quarterback, and a running back. So I kind
Yeah,
of go either way, and I have two picks in a row here that I could go with. Um,
yeah.
I think it's tough. I feel like I really like Cortland Sutton this year, in general,
Mhm.
and just Sutton in general. I think he's a very safe player, to go along with some of these like boom guys that I have. I'll
Yeah.
also be honest. I'm not as big high on Sam Laporta as a lot of people are. I think he had that huge rookie campaign, but they had some more injuries. Jameson Williams wasn't as involved, and I don't like. To me, I don't look at him as being worth that high of a pick there.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say, like, coming out of this, I probably am going to do similar to what you did, try to secure up, my wide receiver and running back positions
Yeah.
in these
You have
spots.
good you have good choices there.
I do, and so I'll. This is where I know I'm going to take Devonta Smith. I just love him. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is more of a love pick for me. I think he's a great dude. He's a great teammate, and he is a great wide receiver. His only downfall is that he plays for the Eagles that don't pass it much, or as much
Hmm.
as we'd love them to. But it's still a great offense, and he's
Yeah.
out there a lot. So I think he fits in
Yeah.
well with the team. And another guy, like, I like James Conner, Joe Mixon if he was healthy right now. I just don't know what's going on. You have R.J. Harvey down here at the running back spot, but I just don't know when he gets full run, and is that more of a end of the year play? But I'm going to go with James
Hmm.
Conner. He's been a stellar, running back and a good RB2 on a lot of squads for a good amount of time now. So I'm going to go with James Conner
So
and do what you did and lock that up.
I probably would have went David Montgomery, but I don't
Okay.
hate to pick. I don't hate to pick.
So
Um,
why would you have gone Montgomery? So he did go right
just
after my pick.
touchdown, boom. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Touchdown, boom. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's not going to get you a boatload of yards, sure, but he's going to get touchdowns. That's
Very
what they
true.
do with him.
That's very true.
Um,
I just don't know what that
Now,
offense
where
looks
I'm
like this year
sitting,
either.
I'm with
But
you. I really like Cortland Sutton this year.
yeah.
Um, I feel like he might have a great year this year, so I might go there. Um, I feel like Pacheco might have a big year too. I really do. I feel like he's healthy now.
Yep.
I think that they might run the ball a lot with the good offensive line. I'm kind of torn here.
With yours and where you're at, so as you kind of showed, like, you have your running back and wide receiver spots like on locked.
Yeah,
If I'm you, I might even take a stab at one of these guys like an R.J. Harvey or a Travion Henderson, just because of the upside they provide, maybe
right,
nearing the back end of the year when you already have this
right.
front end,
Yeah,
kind of taken care of too. So that's also another option for a team like yours where you've really settled in those spots.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take Pacheco. I'm going
Okay.
to take Pacheco. And Sutton goes right next. I knew it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, something was going to go before you'd pick again as well, but
Yeah, sure.
little
There
run of
goes the
tight ends
tight
here.
end.
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly, in the past round, little basically round, there was three tight ends off the board there. Plus a good.
So where I'm sitting, I'm basically torn of whether or not I should,
Ooh, yeah, you got a few players here.
yeah, if I should tight end and get that position filled, or if I should take another wide receiver.
So would you look to
Um,
go Mark
I have,
Andrews? Is that what you would look to do if you were going to go tight end, or do you have a different target?
I would maybe think about Evan Ingram. I feel like he might have a year in Denver.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be a pretty good offense, but I
he's
don't
also
know.
way down on ADP.
Something's telling me to take a wide receiver. Um, and there's some decent ones still. Unfortunately, something tells me to take Pickens. I have CD Lamb. I'm not going to take both Dallas
Yep,
wide receivers,
yep, that's a tough
but
call.
I mean, Waddle's a decent choice. I
Yep,
mean, Jerry Judy, he's been hyped up. I love Calvin Ridley, and I feel like with
same,
Cam Ward, if he's any good, that he
same.
might have a good year with him. Yeah, I'm gonna do Calvin Ridley.
I
Yeah,
like that pick. I think he's a very
yeah,
undervalued player
yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Um,
And
now,
by the
now, now let me
way, the
ask you
Travion
this.
Henderson is not a bad pick.
No, and so let me ask you this. Looking back, so you got Pacheco and Ridley. Would you rather have Pacheco and Ridley or Sutton and Henderson? Because you could have had that also.
Correct. And that's a good question. Um, we'll see at the end of the year, but yeah, I might have wanted Sutton and Henderson instead of Pacheco Ridley. Yeah, yeah,
And this is why you mock draft, right? You see like
yeah,
where is it at? Where does it fall? Could I have
yeah,
gotten a different combo in that round right there? I think you're good either way. I'm with you.
yeah,
I like both Sutton and Ridley, and I also with you on Pacheco. My only fear with Pacheco is kind of what happened to Pollard after. You remember when he broke his leg, and then like that
yeah,
following year he was hyped up and he didn't do it for Dallas. And
yeah,
that's like kind of where I go with the Pacheco thing. Is that going to be the same thing? 'Cause I think it was a similar injury, if I'm not mistaken. And is that
yeah,
one where he's going to be more like 85% Pacheco, and he's such a hard runner. I love him as a
yeah.
football player. Love the guy, but is he too hard of a runner for those legs? I
I
don't
just
know.
feel like with them having Kareem Hunt, that they'll split a little bit.
Yeah, a little
So I
bit.
don't.
Yeah, I'm hoping
So I
Kareem Hunt
don't
doesn't
think
take his
the
touchdowns away. Would be my thing.
right, right.
So
So what
here,
do you think from here?
man, here's where I'm going to go. This is a tough one because I'm going to go Tony Pollard. Again, I like Pollard. Tajay Spears also just got injured with a high ankle sprain. He's going to be out for a while, and that's also Tajay Spears' normal stuff. So to me, it's Pollard's backfield all the way. I'm always looking for, and I think that offense is much improved, just like with Ridley. And I think Ridley and Pollard have really good years this year with Cam Ward at quarterback doing well. And then um, honestly, I'm taking Mark Andrews. I'm going to take him because I have Lamar Jackson as my
Yeah,
quarterback. I'd like to
not
stack
a
him, and so
yeah, not a bad stack.
I'm gonna take Mark Andrews again. Isaiah Likely also got hurt. He's out probably for at least the beginning part of the season, and who knows how he comes back. I like Isaiah Likely a lot, but that means to me it's our Andrews tight end role. And I think last year the Andrews we saw I think he was more hurt than we realized, and he kind of came on as the season progressed because he
Yeah,
got in that car accident at the beginning of the year, right? And so I
yeah,
feel like his bad or down quote unquote down year was due to that. I think they were just going to then minimize him. They had Isaiah Likely already. So I think Andrews has still that upper echelon, top five tight end in him. But I got
yeah,
him as the number 7 or 8 tight end.
yeah. So I am going to risk it here. I feel like I
Okay.
should take Dak here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take my tight end as well.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to maybe surprise you here. I am going to leave Evan Ingram, and I'm going to take Tyler Warren from the Colts.
Okay.
I do love him. I'm glad we got him. Oh
Yeah,
boy,
he's a
here's
great
our
player. I
bunch of
think he's
quarterbacks. That's not good. No, no. Okay, so
nice.
I am going to take Dak Prescott right here and stack my team.
Nice.
Um, I don't want to get too in depth here, but I want to ask you, how are you feeling right now in round 8, only having 2 wide receivers?
I don't love it, but because they're my starters, I'm okay. And because of how our league works, I'm okay having a running back in my flex. So normally I like
Yep.
because we're a half PPR instead of a full PPR. That's why I'm more okay with it. But to your point, if this is a
Hmm.
full PPR league, I don't like where I'm at fully,
Yeah.
just
Yep.
because of
Okay.
that. Because I want the receptions, at that point.
Hmm. Hmm.
With that being said, Pollard is a guy that catches the ball out of the backfield, so I kind of like him as my flex because he's going to do both. So I actually like how it started with I feel really confident in this starting squad. So I mean, right now my starting squad is what you see of Chase and Smith at the wide receiver spots, Lamar Jackson at
Hmm.
quarterback, Kyron and James Conner at running back, Pollard in my flex,
Hmm.
and Andrews at tight end.
Yeah.
You're seeing my starting squad right there.
Yeah, which is a good. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good squad. Yeah, I just wanted you to give some context to the people that
Oh yeah,
if they're picking in that position and they get there, how are you feeling?
yep.
And
And
you
that's
still have
why.
some options. I mean, you got Stephon Diggs, you got Ricky Pearsall, you got Jaden Reed.
Yeah,
You got Golden if you want to go young, right?
yep.
You know,
A lot of options here, honestly, in an
yeah.
interesting spot. So now I'm in an interesting spot where, as you mentioned that, I'm going to go Ricky Pearsall because the
Hmm.
49ers are in need of weapons and people to throw to.
Yeah.
Jawan Jennings is currently hurt. He hasn't practiced since I don't know when with that calf injury. So
And
and
wants a new contract.
and wants a new contract. Who knows what's going to happen? And Pearsall is their top guy right now. And
Yep.
Ayuk, when Ayuk comes back, he's coming off a devastating knee injury. So at that
And
point, I mean,
they
he ain't
just
going to be a
announced
great
yesterday that he won't be back for at least week 6.
right. So there you go. Like I look at that now. Pearsall has shown that he's getting a little injured too. So I don't
Yeah.
love like what I'm kind of seeing. It seemed, but shoot, man, all these guys are not. And it seems like you're seeing it all the time. I mean, see,
Yeah.
Diggs questionable, Jaden Reed questionable, all that kind of stuff. So there's multiple things here to think about.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel good Pearsall as the guy on my bench, and I think he's the number one wide receiver for the 49ers. So to have in the eighth round, at the end of the eighth, really the number one wide receiver for a team, I like that. It also is a reason I might go with a Matthew Golden. He's showing really good signs out of camp. Jaden Reed is hurt. That's a team that spreads the ball around a lot. So to be honest, I kind of target Tucker Kraft right now as a sleeper tight end that could be a really good play as a guy who's going to
Yeah.
get some run. And then
Yeah.
I also got to look at running back. Like there's a few guys on here. What are your thoughts on Javante Williams this year? He's a Dallas guy. What are your thoughts?
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. I mean, take him.
Yeah, right. So I'm not going to
No,
take him.
honestly, I mean, it just depends on his health, obviously. I mean, that's obvious with every player, but I mean, he's just kind of been nicked a little bit. And I mean, he'll be okay, but I mean, their offensive line ain't great. I think they're going to throw a lot, especially having CD Lamb and George Pickens. Ferguson is a good tight end as well. So I think they're going to throw more than they'll run, which is what they've been doing as well.
Yeah, so I like I mean he claims he's back to like
Mm,
his normal self, but I who knows?
mm,
And the reason that I target Javante right now is you're talking about him. He's the only one that hasn't been nicked up actually. You
yeah,
got Miles Sanders who's out with
yeah,
a ankle or a knee injury, something like that right now, and you have Jaden Blue who they just signed out with I think it's just a bruised heel, so he'll probably be back, but he's a rookie. He was a later round
mm,
pick in the draft. Who knows? He's got a lot of hype to him, but so do a lot of rookies when they come in. So
yeah,
I like it just because he's a starting running back for a team. So that's why I don't mind it as a pick in a
right,
what ninth round where you get the potential starting running back on a good offense. So one of the
Right.
things that I do target when my with my running backs, especially if I can get it later, is the starting running back for a good offense, and that's what Javante could be. I'm not saying he will be because they have a few
Yeah.
options, but he could be that. Um,
Yeah.
but because I wasn't
So
picking for a while, it was a tough choice.
yeah. So I was going to go Johnu Smith here. That got taken. Um, I do kind of like him this year, but I'm actually going to back up my running backs just a little bit in this position, just
Okay.
because of Pacheco, like you said, right? Kind of don't know what's going to happen. Um, and I'm actually going to take Ramondre Stevenson. Um,
Okay.
I know he's a backup, but he's just been proven every year to be a stud. So I feel like might get the job back. Maybe like we'll just see, you know.
Yeah.
And then coming back to me, I'm kind of torn here. I definitely probably want to stir up my wide receiver room as well in this position, but there's just some good picks. Yeah, he's still there. Actually, I am going to take my backup quarterback in round 10, actually,
Oh,
because I can
early.
get him. I'm going to take Jordan Love. Yeah,
I do like
a
Jordan
little
Love.
early, but I feel
I
like that two good quarterbacks, you know what I mean, for getting them in the eighth and 10th round.
yeah. No, very true. Because when
So,
I start one, I normally don't go that early, and I might, and
yep,
because I have Lamar Jackson, I'm in a different boat than
right.
you. I have Lamar
Yep,
Jackson, so I probably am not going to even draft another quarterback. I'm going to look at it like I got that sewn
right,
up. Lamar's
right,
going to start every week. I don't care unless
right.
he's hurt. So then I'll have to figure it out at that point.
Correct.
Um, for me now, I've now you mentioned receiver being a, but I got Pearsall and Golden, two young players who could be
Yep,
their wide receiver ones in their team. So I feel like okay, I don't need to attack that anymore because you had a good point of shoot through 7 rounds, I only had two wide receivers, and that's kind of tough. And that's what happens when you take a quarterback high or a tight
yep,
end high. You're
yep,
gonna fall into that trap, and that's a really good thing to highlight to people. Is like then you're gonna have to focus on depth and maybe double tap some depth pieces because these are still shots. You don't know if it's gonna work out. And Green Bay, I love because he is like it's kind of like if Caleb Williams can do it and turn into it, it's kind of the same thing. There's so many weapons around him that really the best player to have is Love. It's like Josh Allen. Like he actually doesn't have all the weapons, but he's
right.
the guy you want in that offense because
Yeah.
they're gonna spread the ball around. For me, I'm actually gonna go with I actually like J.K. Dobbins right now as their potential starting running back
Same.
uh, for him. So I'm probably gonna go J.K. Dobbins here
Yeah,
at
I
this
don't hate
point.
that at all.
And I have to then think so now I have four running backs, I have four wide receivers, and then I
Yep.
have each onesie position taken. I
Yep.
don't take defense until the end, really. Like
Hmm.
that's when I end up doing it because defense is so fluid that it's kind of tough at times. There's only a few very top ones. So I still look to add depth. One
Oh
of the
yeah.
things that if this was a full PPR, I honestly would look at taking Jake Ferguson as my backup tight end because I can't tell you for certain that Mark Andrews is his old self, right? And so therefore, do
Right.
I want to take that gamble? I don't know.
Right.
So I probably, because of how our leagues work, because of you know ultimately other things that are going on they just happen with the running back position. I would feel most confident to take another running back here, so I'm at five and
Yeah.
five that I might be confident in. The tough part is who are those, and I don't like Tank Bigsby. I do like he could be a guy that that
Hmm.
backfield is kind of muddled, and one of the things that you focus on are ambiguous, as they say, backfields where you might not be certain who the person is. And so therefore you're kind of taking that shot. I even
Yeah.
like Ray Davis this year, but James Cook will end up getting that contract, and who knows if I want him. And maybe
Yeah.
Zach wants him to be the backup to secure James Cook, so I don't want to steal it from Zach, or maybe I
Right.
do. But in all
Yeah. Right.
honesty, I'm I'm a little torn, so I'm probably going to go with. I'm wondering if I do take Bigsby here or if I go with a surprising pick, maybe of an Austin Eckler. Um,
That
but
is
I'm
a
going to
little
go end
bit
up
of a
going with
surprise.
Tank Bigsby.
Yeah,
I just think he's shown some promise there. He's done well, and who knows what it's going to pan out as. I didn't like, even though I have Pollard, I didn't like Tajay Spears. I think he's the one often injured more than Pollard is right now. So what does he help me with is having him as my backup, and I don't
right.
really need that. So, what about you? I'm going to read this off for the team while you kind of take a look at what you might want to do. But you started off very strong. CeeDee Lamb, Josh Jacobs, James Cook, DK Metcalf, Isaiah Pacheco. You've got even if you want to throw Pacheco in at your flex, you got that. Or you can throw Ridley in at your flex because you went him at 6. You went Tyler Warren at 7 to round out your tight end position. A lot of upside there as a tight end to have. And then you completed your stack by getting Dak. And therefore, your starting squad is looking pretty strong and with a good stack to it. You grabbed Ramondre to end up being your fourth running back, so not reliant on him, but having him as a nice backup, and then Jordan Love as your backup quarterback. That means you only have 3 wide receivers. Is this a spot that you're looking to grab some more?
It is. It is. And I already had them in place. I was just waiting for you to finish. So because I didn't get the one I want, well, the one I was talking about that we were talking about, and I do like him, I'm going to take Mims here.
Okay, yeah.
And I like that pick a lot. I like that pick a lot. And then I'm
And
hoping to
he's getting
come
runs
back.
with the starters. So sorry to interrupt you, but he's getting run with the starters now too. So I think that's
Yeah,
also kind of good to see that he seems to be a part of that plan, and he is an explosive player. And when you're
yeah,
looking this late in the draft, explosiveness is something that you should look for as well. Is who's a guy that has some
correct.
good upside, might be able to provide some boom for your team.
Well, and right here, I, I would like to get another wide receiver, but he's there and I'm going to take him. So I do kind of like Zach Ertz this year, just
Yeah,
because of the McLaurin thing, like what's going on there. And he had a pretty good year last year. Jaden Daniels is good, so I don't mind that as my backup tight end at that spot.
I would absolutely agree. I think if you didn't even go tight end yet, I would be happy with Zach Ertz as my tight
Yeah,
end one. Like that
yeah,
sounds really odd, but like for how old he is, he just catches the ball in an offense where you said they're in need of pass catchers, and he's a reliable guy that Jaden Daniels will always find. I love that pick, especially as a late. Think about it, you got him at middle of the 12th round, and
yeah,
I would be okay with him as my starter.
yeah,
So, I
yeah,
really like that pick.
yeah.
Funny enough, Ray Davis came back to me. So if I wanted to, I could hop on him to get a sixth running back. Right now, I'm sitting with 4 receivers, 5 running backs, a quarterback, and a tight end. So therefore, I'm probably not going to go running back here. I have a ways to go, right? So I'm at the edge of it. So therefore, with having that much room, I should say, I could take the Eagles defense if I wanted to start the trend of getting a defense going. They are listed as the top defense this incumbent
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Kyle Williams, rookie wide receiver for New England, who again who knows who the wide receiver one is? We're going to assume that it is, Stephon Diggs, but he's also coming
Hmm.
off of an ACL injury as an old guy. So, we're not quite sure. Who I'm
Yeah.
actually like I'm in the midst, so there's lots of different ideas here. I'd like to grab a wide receiver to be honest, and I forgot to take out kickers in this, so please don't take a kicker, and it's going to force us to, I think, at
Yeah.
the
I
end
won't
here.
do that.
But I'll probably end up going with, a guy like a Kyle Williams just to, kind of see, okay, does he have the hype? Will he end up being, a guy in that offense?
Yeah.
And then from there, man, this is a tough one. I actually look a lot at these running backs and think, okay, how long is Garendo out? Because if
Yeah.
CMC doesn't work out, that could
Yep.
be a great pick right there and a great offense. But he's a guy based around if that happens. I already have 5 running backs. He's not going to really normally be a starting player for me.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm actually, oh shit, man. I'm probably what tight ends do we have left on the board? Hunter Henry, I like in that same offense I just drafted from. I mean, he's
Yeah.
always a consistent player. Likely is there as the
Mm,
backup to my tight end
mm.
currently. You know what, I like him. I even like Brenton Strange this year with Jacksonville Jaguars as their tight end. I like him a lot as a potential sleeper as a tight end because I think he's a talented player. But I think I can hit that later in the draft with that play. And quarterback, honestly, if you want to go late quarterback and not get him to the end, I love Cameron Ward and what he's coming out and looking like. I love Michael Penix, what he looked like. A lot of good stuff there, but because I have Lamar Jackson, I'm just not going to do it. So therefore, I'm going to end up taking probably a running back, one of these top running back here, just to say, hey, that's the last running back I'm going to pick. He is going to be a
Yeah,
backup in that offense. Um,
yeah,
Ray Davis is getting more run, but I don't know how many touchdowns he gets.
right.
But I also don't know how healthy Garendo's getting. He's getting hurt every single year, and he's explosive. But will that help me? I don't quite know. So I'm going to go with Ray Davis
Yeah.
instead of Isaac Garendo on that.
And there goes some defenses. So
Yep.
I'm going to be 100% honest.
That's all we ask.
I am not real sure what to do here, but I think I'm going to take a flyer here on Tyler Algier
I like him. Yeah.
in hopes that if something happens to, Bijan or, they run Algier a pretty good amount. So he's a good backup.
Yep. Like he does get run. He does get play in that offense. So
Yeah.
unfortunately I forgot to take out kickers and sleeper. I forgot it doesn't have our
No, it's
exact
fine.
settings. So I
Yeah.
feel like crap and I'm showing you all players that would be there that may not actually be there. So my apologies to the fam for leaving kickers. But hey, Allison loves it. I'm sure she'll enjoy the fact that I left him in. Okay.
I am
Um,
going to take the Chiefs defense here.
okay. I like the Chiefs defense always. There are certain teams that
Hmm.
just always have a solid defense. And
Yeah.
Chiefs are up there as one of them. For me, I can't pick anymore. So our settings are set at like six maximum for running back, six maximum, I
Yeah.
think, for wide receiver, stuff like that. So I can't do any more of that. I have six running back, five wide receiver, and then a tight end and a quarterback. Here's where I am going to take, excuse me, my backup tight end. You know,
Yeah.
like I talk about Brenton Strange. I also like potentially Elijah Arroyo as a rookie. He's looking great in that offense too. He's got a lot of athletic ability. So I'm probably going to go. I'm going to
I
go
don't
with
want to
Brent.
cut you off, but I'm
Yeah,
going to real quickly. How do you feel about Darren Waller?
not good. I don't. A guy. How long is he? He was out of the game for how long now? And even when he was last in it, he was hurt all the time. He's already like they're saying they're getting him into shape. He's not going to be Johnu. So Johnu of last year is not Darren Waller this year, in my opinion. That's just where I go with that.
Okay.
So what's
All
your
right.
thought? Seems like you
I
like him.
this late, right? And for a backup, I feel like he would be a good possibility because
Sure.
he does have the upside. Now, is he going to hit it? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
Nothing. I've heard nothing about it, so I don't know. It's something I'm actually going to look into. Trust me. I love Darren Waller. I love Darren Waller.
I got to pick a defense here at some point, anyways.
Yeah.
So I might as well
Yeah.
kind of take a look as to who I would like to get onto my defense.
Well, and
I
you
mean,
pick back to back, so you can go defense and tight end if you wanted.
yeah.
But
So tight end, I'm probably going to go Brenton Strange. I just think I
mhm.
think he'll have a role, and to me, I kind of also look at it as yes, Travis Hunter is there and will be the number two, but he's not going to be in on every snap, due to him playing both sides of the ball. And I
Right.
actually think, and knowing the track record for Trevor Lawrence, he always loved Evan Ingram. And even when Brenton Strange went in for Evan Ingram, he was great.
Yeah.
So again, another guy, I think tight end's one that you could always wait on if you wanted to. And Brenton Strange, I think, would be a good choice there. And then defensive wise, I don't really care a whole lot. The fact that I have a couple of Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I might think about getting them. They have, always a solid defense. That's something that they focus on. So I
Hmm.
probably would go Ravens here. But another one I think about is like Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay kind of more so because of the division they're in. They're facing New Orleans that has shitty quarterbacks. They got to face New Orleans twice. I feel like there's going to be good turnovers there. They're playing the Carolina Panthers twice, who are still a young team and better, but I don't know. I still think that's a team that they can beat. And the Falcons are a team that has a terrible defense, but they're gonna, shoot it out. What we would see. So that'd be another one I would look at. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens as a
Yeah,
defense there.
that's a good defense. It's almost who I was going to take when I took Kansas City.
Understandable. Yeah.
So, my last pick here, I mean, I see he just popped up, so I'm going to just take him because I'm on all available. But
Yep.
I'm going to take a flyer on Hollywood Brown and fill out my wide receivers. Um,
Interesting.
I think that if he's healthy, they could have a big year. I think I expect big things from Kansas City this year. I think it's going to be a better year.
No, that's very interesting. I like that. I wish it would show me kind of the board again. Um, I don't need this. Oh shoot. Let's go back. I don't want that. What did I do there? Oop. All right, we're back. No, I was wishing they would show me people who are available because I'd love to go through some of these other players too that we didn't pick, but
You can close that little thing. Yep, yep.
and then
Why is
do
it showing different on yours? I
well,
mean,
I'm
I
on
can.
the can you see all the players that are left?
Yeah, yeah.
Because one of the guys that I actually really liked is also in that, and I maybe would have taken him over a Kyle Williams. I like Demario Douglas in that New England offense, and he was still available at the very end of our draft. There's some definite sleepers there. Who else do you see on it? Because yeah, I'm not in that draft anymore. I'm not in on.
So I'll just run through quickly the top few names, which are interesting and interesting picks. Yes. So you got Braylon Allen, running back from the New York Jets. He's the backup to Brees Hall. You have
Yep.
Adam Thielen, wide receiver from Carolina. You have Isaiah Likely, which is Mark Andrews' backup, tight end, Baltimore. You got Michael Penix. I mean, if you think they're going to be good, you have Keenan Allen, who is back with the Chargers, so that could be real good potential. You have Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback from Miami. You have Cedric Tillman, wide
Yep.
receiver from Cleveland, who at the end of the year last year was killing it. You have I forget his first name, but Jay Wright, the running back from Miami, he was doing pretty good last year when Achane and Mostert were hurt.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon looks like he might be the guy for that job now, though, too. So that's a
Yeah,
tough call.
yeah.
But
You got Pat Fryermuth, tight end, Pittsburgh. You got Xavier Legette, which I mean, a lot of people are not high on him, but I mean, he did okay last year.
yeah, and with Tet McMillan there now, might take some heat off.
Yeah,
And you have Tet going, that'd be more your deep receiver, and I can do more. Where Leggett could just use his body and speed in the early part just to break tackles and get down the field,
yeah,
after some short passes.
yeah. And then you got Mike Gesicki, who had a mediocre year for a tight end last year.
They just signed Noah Fant though, so
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
tough call there.
yeah. You got Matthew Stafford, but I'm not hearing good news out of
No,
Los Angeles for them. So, I mean, yeah, you got Palmer from wide receiver from Buffalo. You got Bryce Young. You got Quentin Johnston, wide receiver from the Chargers. You got Roshan Johnson, running back from Chicago. You got Demario Douglas. You got Blake Corum, back up to your guy.
yep, yeah, a lot of
You got you
handcuffs
got
that are
you
still
got
there.
DeAndre Hopkins out there.
And I think in our league, you'll probably have fewer of those running backs available. I think, most teams are going to have 5 to 6 running backs on their team.
Yeah,
Whereas I don't know how this shook out, but team two, for example, team two had 5, team three ended with 4, team four has 6, team five had only 4. What did you end up with? You ended up with 5 running backs
five.
yourself. Um, Team 7 had 5, team 8 with only 4. But some of that could be because there's a kicker there. They would have taken a running back instead, right? So I do think some of those handcuffs would be taken already because you had multiple teams with just 4. You have team 10 who has only 3 running backs. You have, team 11 has 5. team 12 with who started off without any. They only ended up with three. Theirs were Swift, Warren, and Harris. Swift and Warren, I think, would be fine, just okay. But Najee Harris, who knows what he's doing? He doesn't even have an
Yeah.
eyeball, uh, or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I feel like in our league, you're probably going to want at least five. I'd say five, just because of the value of the running back and how often they get
Hmm.
injured. I could see that being the case for most teams that you're going to. So I would imagine we're going to have 60 plus running backs on squads in general, right? That'd be an average of five. So I'd say we'd be around 60 or more running
Yeah.
backs on people's squads. Um, but here, I'm going to run through my squad here real quick, and then I'm going to have you run through yours. Does that sound good?
That's good.
Okay, so my starting squad, I have Lamar Jackson at quarterback with Kyron Williams and James Conner filling out my running back spots. Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith as my starting wide receivers. Mark Andrews in as my tight end. And then we are running with just one flex in our league. So I'd put either Tony Pollard or Ricky Pearsall or even Matthew Golden in that spot. I don't know, or even potentially J.K. Dobbins earlier on before he gets hurt. So I could
Yeah.
even have that. And then Baltimore Ravens as my defense with what I consider to be not a great bench. I'll be honest. I don't love it. Matthew Golden and J.K. Dobbins are good. Tank Bigsby in that mid level, and Kyle Williams just have to see what that looks like. Um, what is your squad looking like, Zachary?
So my starting lineup would be CD Lamb, Josh Jacobs, James Cook, DK Metcalf, Isaiah Pacheco, maybe Calvin Ridley instead of Pacheco, but probably Pacheco
Yeah, neither one of
just
those
for the
interchangeable. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then Tyler Warren would be my tight end, and then my quarterback would be Dak Prescott. So not bad. And
Yeah.
my defense would be Kansas City.
Yep.
Again,
Eh,
my bench is not super duper strong, but I do love my starters. You know, I've got a pretty good starting lineup, and this is rare, but I literally have like no, I don't think I have anybody on duplicate teams other than Dak and CD Lamb,
Um,
Jordan Love and
Josh
Josh
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Yep.
But I think that's it. Other than that,
Yeah, and I
you
do
know,
like.
I got a good mixture of people. So
Yep.
hopefully the bye weeks work. I can't see that on this spot right here, but
Right. You don't see bye weeks either, so that's another thing to like
I
think
feel
about.
comfortable with this team. I would feel pretty good about this team
Yeah.
because I that's another thing I do. Heads up, Louis. I do expect great things from Dallas this year. I think they're going to be pretty good. I really do. Just as far as offense, I don't know if they're going to win a bunch of games or nothing, but I think they're going to put up fantasy points. I think they will.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think fantasy wise, they look like a really top notch offense that could do it. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And hopefully Louis and Kyle are also feeling the same way about their squad. But Jared Jones likes to do weird shit with like Micah Parsons and people like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I'm not a fan of what all is going on with that either. But again, that's defense. That's not gonna, it's not gonna really affect the offense much. I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. And so, in all honesty, for fantasy, you want a great offense with a terrible defense. That's what you want. So
Yeah.
you want like parts of the Bengals offense because the Bengals have like the worst defense in the world, and so therefore
Hmm.
having the Bengals players is good. And there are other teams like that. So I often tell people like, look at that. I think some underrated defenses will be like the Raiders. I think the Raiders are actually an underrated defense this year, but they're also in a tough division with Kansas City, the Denver Broncos, right? You got some really tough teams to face there too, though. So
Yeah.
that can be too challenging. The Chargers, they got to play the Chargers as well, but we'll see how the Chargers end up. I don't know. It's another weird team, but yeah, those are things to kind of focus on.
Hmm.
Um, but Zach, I appreciate you doing this mock draft with me. Hopefully, you
Yeah.
all
Not a
got
problem.
something out of it. And those of you who haven't done any mock drafting or like, hey, I haven't done shit, maybe you can at least watch this and feel a little bit like you know some players that are going through it. So,
Yeah.
so But hey,
You
we got
should
about less than
you
three
should
weeks.
practice mock drafts. It helps. It
It
helps.
does. And do different stuff. Like don't do the
Yeah.
same thing. Don't keep picking the same
Go to
player.
different positions, right? Choose different people, see how it affects the draft. I
Yep.
mean, again, that's like people would be amazed at how many I do in the off season here. Like, I mean, I've probably already done 200. So,
Really. Yeah, I'm not
oh
close to
yeah, a
that.
lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, a
But
lot. A
I've done a lot
lot.
more dynasty this year. I shouldn't say I've done a lot more dynasty. I've only done entered two more. I did entered two more leagues, so I'm in too many dynasties still, and Allison will give
Right.
me a hard time always for it.
Right.
So I have to convert my brain from dynasty value to redraft value because it's much different. But yes, keep mock drafting. I'd say get at least 10 of them under your belt if you can before you
Yeah.
start, just so you almost also have the flow of how it flows, and so you don't feel so like overwhelmed when we start drafting and you only have a minute to draft your
Yeah.
player. So that's what I
Yeah.
would say. But but again, man, much love to you. Thank you for doing
Yeah.
this with me. I appreciate it. And then
Yep.
we'll have
Love
another
everybody.
episode of
Let's get to it this year.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, much love, brother.
All right. Love you, man.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.